With the development of shopping malls in formerly white neighborhoods reaching saturation point, property developers are now turning their attention to previously underserviced markets, townships and rural areas. Executive Chairman and founder of Masingita Property Investment Holdings, Dr. Michael Nguna, is among a handful of businessmen leading this transition. Nguna's commercial property portfolio in the township is estimated at over 2 billion rand. Nguna's Protea Mall is valued at 700 million rand, while his Jabulani Mall is worth an estimated value of 1.4 billion rand. He says jobs must be created where people reside.
We then look at people that are residing in the township or rural areas, instead of allowing people to move to the rural areas to come to Joburg, as if we can't create jobs where they live, right? And when they arrived here, there's no space for them to reside. That's why you find that we have created the Mokuku city. If you go to Cape Town, when you land, the first thing that you see when you land, you see the Mokukus. But you see, if we had created jobs where people reside and give those people some tax concession, those people, I can tell you, you will find them back and reside where they come from.
Two of his malls in the townships were vandalized. Nguna owns the Protea and Jabulani malls, which were vandalized by looters. But he is not deterred by what has happened and has more plans.
We're also doing some extensions. And apart from that, we're able to launch a new city on the 7th of October, which was launched by the Premier of the province in conjunction with Vemba district and also the Collins Chavani municipality, whereby we worked very well together with the DTIC, where we formed a very strong partnership. And as you are aware that some of the municipalities they lack some resources, human resources. We were able to come in as Masingita Group of Company and assist them to apply, and we ended up managed to get more than 50 million in a form of grant that will be channeled via the municipality for bulk infrastructure.
Despite poverty and the high unemployment rate associated with rural and township setups, margins are very high in these areas. Chief Executive of McCormick Property Development, Jason McCormick, has been at the frontier of rural retail developments. The family business was not only a commercial success, but also showed the value of building good relationships with local communities. McCormick says banks are willing to put money in rural property development.
The risk appetite of the financial institutions is driven by the risk appetite of the retailers who sign long-term leases with developers like ourselves. Given that we've got a lot of really good developments that promise to make good returns for the retailers, they are still supporting us. We only approach the financial institutions once we've normally got 70% of our leases signed with national retailers. And as long as we keep doing that, certainly we've seen from the pricing we've been getting, we're very active with new developments, and the pricing we've been getting from the financial institutions doesn't, to our side, show that their risk appetite has changed too much. Although certainly I think a lot of developers may have been a little bit shaken by what's just happened.
McCormick says it's important to settle the debt as quickly as possible.
It takes you at least 10 years to pay back bank debt if you're gearing heavily on a retail development, 7 to 10 years depending on your initial yield. So when you are committing to an investment in property in these areas, you are taking a long-term view of the growth area, the growth potential of the area. So obviously the latent potential as well as the future potential, because you're not just serving the immediate potential, but also looking at the future potential. So it's a vote of confidence and a vote of long-term confidence in these areas. And, by the very nature of the size of the investments that we do, anything between 100 million up to 750 million per development, it's a fairly big check in anyone's book, and certainly a sizable vote of confidence in these areas.
Future Growth Asset Management Community Property Fund is expanding its portfolio with the acquisition of 2 shopping centres in the rural KwaZulu-Natal. The group has purchased the King Senzanga Corner Shopping Centre in Ulundi and Murchison Mall in Ladysmith.
So we are always continually upgrading our shopping centres. Even the new ones that we've acquired recently, we look to upgrade and modernize them. And that ensures that the shopping centres remain competitive in the areas that they are located. And it then also further attracts capital from other property investors, that want to also then further stimulate growth around that area.
And more property developers are making extensions throughout the country. Prudence